Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honorable President IPU, Honorable Secretary General, distinguished members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and good afternoon. It is my privilege to address the 148th IPU Assembly in Geneva today. On behalf of my delegation, I wish to thank Madam President for the leadership and commend the Secretary General for hosting this august gathering. As Speaker of the newly elected National Assembly, I bring greetings of the people of Pakistan, their leadership, and all the members of Parliament. We are immensely pleased to join the fraternity of representatives from 180 countries. Pakistan is proud to have been a member of IPU since 1948. We greatly appreciate and welcome the IPU's effort for peace and understanding across the globe, and we assure you of our continued support in this regard. Dear colleagues, Pakistan is a peaceful country that believes in dialogue for cooperation and understanding. We are inspired by the vision of our great leader, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, and guided by the democratic spirit of the Constitution. Our parliamentarians strive to foster bilateral joint partnerships through parliamentary friendship groups in our National Assembly. Madam President, the overarching theme of parliamentary diplomacy, building bridges for peace and understanding, is not just appropriate, it is both necessary and urgent. As we renew our pledge to foster global harmony through parliamentary cooperation, it is also imperative to confront reality. The peace, prosperity, and security of many people remain elusive. The year 2023 ended with a brutal legacy of war and conflict. Over the past 5 months, we have witnessed death and destruction in Gaza on an unimaginable scale. Over 30,000 civilians have been killed. Most of them are women and children. Pakistan remains extremely concerned in the situation in Gaza. The heart-rending images of death and destruction from Gaza are unconscionable. Women, children, and elderly continue to face the brunt of Israel's war machine and face the prospects of imminent starvation. Israel's actions violate international humanitarian and human rights laws, deliberately attacking civilian targets, and as such constitutes war crimes and crime against humanity. It is extremely unfortunate that the international community has failed to stop the Israeli atrocities, and crime against humanity being perpetrated against the Palestinian civilians. The lack of action undermines the legitimacy of international institutions, particularly the UN Security Council. We reiterate our strong call for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire, unimpeded humanitarian assistance to the besieged people of Gaza, return of the displaced Palestinians, and accountability for the crimes being committed by Israel. We have always and shall continue to stand by our Palestinian brothers and sisters for the exercise of their inalienable right of self-determination, for a viable, secure, contiguous, and sovereign state of Palestine on the basis of the pre-1967 borders with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital. Madam President, closer to home, the people of Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir have suffered over 7 decades of indignity and oppression. The promise of the right of self-determination remains unfulfilled. Since August 2019, another chapter in history of oppression Kashmiris started in unilateral measures in violation of UN Security Council resolution. The freedom that resonates in this hall in the form of the presence of parliamentarians is being crushed by the Indian-occupied Jammu Kashmir. Political parties are being banned, political leaders are incarcerated, and the human rights of ordinary people are being violated with impunity. Those speaking of democracy and human rights must speak out for the people of Indian-occupied Kashmir. Madam President, we all represent people who wish for happy and prosperous lives. But for many, development remains a distant dream. In Parliament, we must legislate education and health for all. We must aspire to strengthen social safety and nets to provide a cleaner environment, but all of it requires resources for implementation. Developing countries face several difficulties in overcoming social and economic challenges: inflation, growing debt burdens, inequalities in the global financial architecture, and unpredictable events such as the pandemic all require cooperative response. Among the risks is Pakistan is also vulnerable to climate change. Pakistan contributes to the global carbon footprint is quite less than 1%. Even then, Pakistan remains the frontline state to bear the brunt of climate change. In 2022, Pakistan suffered one of the worst floods in its history, which left one-third of the country inundated. Thousands of innocent lives were lost. Economic loss of the country was beyond $30 billion. We believe it is high time that international action to deal with the effects of climate change should be galvanized, especially in the most vulnerable countries. As parliamentarians, we must deepen our understanding of a new era of technology progress and what it means for our work and the people we represent. Madam President, under the circumstances, the role of parliamentary institutions like the Inter-Parliament Union is critical. Building bridges through parliamentary diplomacy at global, regional and bilateral level is imperative. While traditional diplomacy operates through prism of national interest, parliamentarians reflect the aspirations of the people. As representatives of the people, their hearts beat closer to the human spirit and its innate desire for peace and dignity for all. Let us work together to make year 2024 as the year of peace.
Thank you,
Let
Mr.
us work
Speaker.
together
if you
to
can
resist.
Wind up, you run out of time.
Okay, I will conclude. Let us work together to resist force of oppression and strengthen the rule of international law. Let us try harder to promote humanitarian right for all without distinction and sustainable development, so that no one is left behind. Thank you. Pakistan Zindabad.
Thank you very much, Pakistan.